Welcome back.
Episode 3, The Squire. Quick disclaimer before we get started. We are recording this remotely, so quality may be off a little bit, but I could not miss out on talking about this episode with you, and I'm so excited to hear what you thought.
I loved it.
Did you?
I felt just a rush when the credits hit with the way that Peter was looking at Dexter. The realization that he was lying to him the whole time.
Yeah.
That feeling that we get to live in, and we will live in the next episode when he's locked up in the tower. Dawning that expression on his face. I've been waiting to see that, and like ever since I heard that this was going to be adapted, like what's the feeling going to be between those two after this realization dawns, and just sweetly and perfectly and painfully in the episode where they grow the closest together, this treachery is revealed.
Yes. I felt like there were so many moments in this episode where it's like you said, they grew so much closer, and we've been talking for the first couple of episodes about how great their relationship is, but it just felt like leaps and bounds ahead. Even just from like the very opening scene when Egg was looking at Dunk, I was like, am I supposed to be afraid right now, or is this just sweet? You know what I mean? Because it almost kind of felt like a little ominous to me. And maybe that's just being triggered from the last couple of episodes. But just like you said, I didn't think that these could be more of our boys. But I just feel like so many things between Dunk trying to talk to Egg about his father and Egg defending Dunk to the maddest knight in the Seven Kingdoms, Robin Risling, I think was his name, who he comes across. Like they're just really backing each other in this episode. And then to have that reveal, I agree. Just like Peter's face was just unbelievable. Like the treachery and also the confusion. It was so perfectly done.
Yeah, no, I mean, we've known that this feeling happens between them, and then eventually, obviously they don't friend break up, and this is the end.
Right. Hallelujah.
There's still that stretch of time where it's like there needs to be an actual apology, and all the steps to make it matter to whoever watches the show, not people that love the novellas, but all the steps that it takes for us to watch and care. First, to feel the hurt, the pain of the lie. I think just so well laid out, and I'm just really happy with the way that it was executed, because it feels like we were betrayed.
Yes.
And all those little breadcrumbs about Egg and his inner personality that we spoke about on a recent podcast, and whatever that might lead to. At this stage, it seems like it leads to the presence that he had whenever he was saying the names of the guards like he does in the novella, and it carried the power that I hoped it would carry in the moment where this intelligent young kid who has birthright in a certain order that gives him a certain amount of power really comes through, and it did, and it was weird and kind of spooky, and there's those weird shadows of spookiness that's within him, whether it's intellect, whether it's being raised in such a high standard, and the confidence and calmness that it allows him to see the world through. Whatever it is that they're making true and channeling through Egg was apparent from that first scene when he was looking at Dunk, and then to finish the episode that way, him speaking to the guards and being on the same level as Arion, who was basically the anti-hero in this episode, is just, I mean, this was a George thing, but it was a show thing, the way that they managed to execute it. So as a fan of the novella, thanks for not screwing it up, guys. That was awesome.
Dexter was totally able to carry that shift in a way that was completely satisfying.
Yes.
Especially in the episode, oh my gosh, the prophecy that was given just minutes before.
Yeah, in the same episode as the prophecy, too. Holy shit.
How crazy was that? Like, for the momentum there, and for that to have affected Egg so deeply, and for Dunk to just kind of be cracking up and laughing it off. And then, later that evening, we're not that far off from that, we get the reveal. So it's like Egg already has these things kind of in the back of his head, and then he's able to step up and step into the situation. And name the guards that have Dunk. It was so great, that transition. It was subtle, without being too like, oh, this is a new person. He just spoke with so much more confidence, I guess. I can't wait to watch it again, because also like the music.
I've got it on in the background right now.
Yeah. The music was so great.
Yeah, and the way it cuts, it's cutting. It's just that God mode that we talked about that was apparent when after Dunk was shitting by the tree, and then there was the sparrow, is super present in that moment.
Yes.
With the way that it's actively cutting with that music in a very risky, way in the world. Which I guess we get enough of these episodes, it won't be risky anymore. Like, this will be commonplace in this world, but it's the way that they did it, and it worked. I just like how our guys from the novella, even Raymond, are here in this scene. It all just makes sense, and they're so important, and they're being used so importantly as well. And damn, Peter just looks so betrayed.
He does.
He looks so betrayed.
He does, on so many different levels, because not only is he like putting himself out there and on the line for Toncel, and he thought he was about to get just completely destroyed.
Yes.
It was especially from that conversation that he has with Raymond, which I was so happy to see Raymond again. I was like, man, we've been missing you for a whole episode. Like, you're our boy. Like, let's have some boy time. The conversation they were having, and just like, Dunk was like, I don't understand how somebody who's a prince and a knight could be dishonorable. It's like, Dunk, are you serious? And then he gets thrown into this situation where it's like, so his whole world has completely been turned upside down today, not just with Egg, but just kind of with the whole hierarchy system, all in one fell swoop.
He also may have heard a couple legit prophecies. Rich is a Lannister. The tendrils of Summerhall, like, holy shit.
The fact that, okay.
Yeah, go on.
I was going to say, you shall be, I'm pretty sure I got this correctly. You shall be king and die in a hot fire, and worms shall feed on your ashes, and all who know you shall rejoice in your dying. It's like, okay, Egg. Like, the Egg, and we talked so much about this in the midweek episode, like you were saying. Then for them to so explicitly shout that out this week in this episode, what an incredible addition.
Well, I guess they need to give the audience a little bit more meaning behind the person that he is, and square it up immediately before the reveal of who he is done. And I don't know if more drama about Egg's through line of his personality needs to be punched up for the TV show, or if that's just something that's always been happening through the novella, like we were saying with the moment here in this episode, whenever he's saying kill him when Arian's jousting Humphrey. I'm not sure, but at least it worked for the setup here. Super heavy-handed with the prophecy, but I'll take anything that seems like it's inner pages, A Song of Ice and Fire, give me Harrenhal, or give me death. I'll take
completely.
And I so far none of the reactions that I've seen have been, no one's looked at it sarcastically. No lore heads are seeing it and going, they're using prophecy willy-nilly so far. But it's only been about 20 minutes since the episode aired, so
sure.
We'll see what the discourse is later this week. But so far, first 20 minutes, everyone seems to like it. Seen a couple owns. And it adds a little bit of drama to the Egg stuff. So if this makes people care more about Egg being a Targaryen, then high five. But for the very least, just for the sake of drama and watching the show on TV is concerned, the way that they played this out, and Raymond being there, and the unfairness, the difference in poverty, the dirt being so clear on their skin at the beginning of this episode, like the way that they're living, them going to the market to buy stuff for breakfast, like making it such a homey vibe. And then to reveal it like that, just the pain of it, I think, is more interesting than Egg being a Targaryen, and it's more interesting than Egg's prophesized future too.
Totally,
just their relationship and like that trust that they had built being maybe taken away. Like, is Egg a good person? Like, is he good enough to be Dunk's friend? Is in the air right now until the next episode, and that's more interesting than who they are.
Especially after
the hill scene when Egg talks about his dreams about he's going to come home a war hero and he's going to have some land and
And a farmer.
the second most beautiful daughter.
Oh
And
yeah.
he's like, "You'll have the first, my lord," to Dunk. Like, after that level of like friendship, then be betrayed.
Right.
But I hear exactly what you're saying, and I completely agree. Like
I'm
it's
just
so
glad it's good and it's not just, oh, he's a Targaryen and it doesn't matter. Like they really saw who these guys are and they really played up who they are on screen. If I was George, I'd be so pleased with this.
completely, because the fact that it, like you said, it's not necessarily even about the fact that Egg is a Targaryen. It's the fact that he lied, and that's such a cool kind of extra additional layer to throw into that on top of it. And I cannot wait. I mean, we got a lot of Dunk's reaction, obviously. His face said it all. But I'm just really looking forward to what that conversation is going to look like, especially after just so much of the truth between them. And, like, Dunk's trying to ask him about his father, and he's talking about his own dad and what he's seen and just all of it,
I think the truth was about to come out because Egg was just delivering some really solid advice and they were getting really close in this episode, and I think that was just making Dunk wonder about where he came from. Like how do you have this perspective? And it was just coming to the point where the lunkiness was going to subside for half a second. He was going to straight up ask him.
Yeah.
And I think that he would have gotten some kind of an answer. Definitely, this is not the way that Egg wouldn't have wanted it to play out, but that feeling that he feels when he's around people like Lionel in the first episode of feeling so different, he was just starting to feel comfortable. Like I felt when I first read it in the novella, the first time I read Raymond inviting him to go drink, I felt suspicious. I thought that this was just a furthering of the plot that Stefan may have started when he saw him in the yard.
Yeah.
And so I was like, why you just want him to go drink? Don't go with these guys. Like,
leave him alone.
Hanging out with Egg.
Yeah.
It is so beautifully adapted because I got that same feeling when I was watching this. And I mean, just from watching this after just re-breaking it down for the show, almost at some points feels like listening to an audiobook. And that sequence was definitely stood out to me as being pulled directly from the page. But he was just feeling comfortable and laughing and like, okay, I can hang out in this tent and drink the cider that these guys make. And then boom, just like in the novella, the Aragon scene drops and then the egg reveal. It's just so unfair for him. It made me really excited to see what kind of result it would have on Dunk next week whenever he has to like talk to other people and feel these feelings within the tournament. And so having this situation with Lionel being another character in the mix of all this just adds to it because there's another person that kind of like doesn't necessarily owe him something, but I kind of feel like everyone kind of owes him something now because the one person that he could rely on in all this just so happens to be one of the biggest perpetrators of all this unfairness, like the person that he's his brother is the guy who just did that to Humphrey's horse.
Yeah, that's true. Well, and also like
betrayed.
Baylor almost owes him something. Not necessarily, but did you see the look on? I loved the look on his face when Arian does that, and he just like the look of just disappointment and just kind of. I can't even describe it, but you guys know what I'm talking about. It was really well done, and so to have that kind of distaste in
while
Baylor's
the small
mouth,
folk are busting out and he doesn't even react to it. It's just like, oh god, it's just we're at like, this point.
Yeah, and Arian Bright Flame, like he really is the bad guy, and so it almost like when you think about all these people that are going to be on Dunk's side, it makes sense, from the perspective, especially how everything went down today. And how much of a negative reaction we get to Arian's just attempt to show off that just kind of was crude and not even hot at all. You know what I mean? Like there was absolutely no hotness to it. It was just like all bad.
Well, all those things that you get the sense of in the novella, they had to make obvious in this. And it just seems like such an obvious thing to do. I just wish more adaptations were straightforward like this. Like
Yeah.
they needed to make those points that you made clear, and those points are clear in the novella, but they're a little bit less direct because there's so much prose that you're navigating. But if you can show me that, if you have to punch it up and show the small folk breaking out, I could go either way. But the way that the original points were still being driven home, like what I felt more of from watching rather than reading was how too little too much too late Arian's whole energy is, like what he did. It's just like it's not appropriate at all. This is a tired thing. Like we're about 100 years after where this would be interesting to anyone, and that's why Baylor is so bored. And just that level of violence was ridiculous. But I felt that way when I was reading the novella about what he did to Tansel as well. But it worked a little bit more for me in the show because of really just seeing the shows lead up until this point and seeing what kind of people they were. Even though that was happening the same in the novella, I just think that the tint and the level of imagery and the music and the sort of feeling like it's a pit stop, in our tent city that we, are questing in, for it to happen there, and for it to be someone who's proven to be so full of pageantry at this point, it wasn't ridiculous. It made sense, but seeing the bone pop out of the finger, that was a little much.
Ooh, I closed my eyes. Did it come off? I was like, how much did you see? I had to close my eyes.
It just like broke out like a compound fracture. What did you think about all that?
Just, so I really liked how I like the dragon ought never to lose, and all of that kind of like pageantry, like you're saying, just coming off of all the drama. I really like just the tension of all the small folk, which is kind of weird to call them the small folk because like those are our people right now, but just like the tension with all of the normies surrounding the situation of the day. Because again, when you read the novella, we're so dialed in on the characters that you just kind of forget about, and maybe that's a shortcoming as me as a reader, but you just kind of forget to fill in the space, and so having them react the way they did earlier during the joust that turned so violent, to then kind of seeing the violence here again, it just adds so much more weight to this, the drama that the Targaryens are dealing with at all right now. And you think about like somebody like Aerion should have been alive 300 years ago.
Yeah, 300 is probably more accurate.
And it felt so unnecessary, which was great because it is unnecessary. And I think that really helps with because we've been asking this question of like, why are people going to rush to Dunk's side? If, how is this going to play out? Why are people going to come vouch for him near the end of the story if Lionel's here, or, kind of with some different slight changes to the narrative? And I think that the addition, not even addition, but just the fleshing out of how much the people are reacting to what's going on around them, which again, I don't know, I feel kind of silly saying it because it's so obvious. It just, it makes so much sense that Dunk would be the people's champion. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's what is happening.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Dunk would be the people's champion because, Tansel is so beloved amongst the people, and the dragon, it's just like the dragon should never lose. Okay, well, like you're short, like there's nothing about you that's like all encompassing and powerful enough to be acting the way that you are. And Dunk
you guys
like
don't even have dragons anymore.
Yeah, Dunk has 1,000 times more aura than you do. So just like get real, I thought it was really well done, and I again, the reveal of Egg again being lifted from the page. And one thing random thing I loved is that we really got a lot of Egg with his hood up this episode.
Yeah.
That's something that really stood out to me. But I again, lifted from the page. I cut it off my hair. I didn't want to look like you. There's like this opera music playing in the background, and then it's over. It's just like, that's it. That's it. It was
just how I pictured
done really
it,
well.
but better, literally. But the same sort of cliffhanger ending.
It was awesome.
Man, I could not have pictured Peter Claffey's face pulling off that betrayal so well.
It was so good.
Yeah, it really was.
It was
Absolutely nailing
so
it.
good.
What did you think about the new plumber subplot?
Oh
There,
my gosh.
it's
Okay.
the Mystery Knight, Uther
That's what
Underleaf,
I'm
but
saying.
coming in season 1. I'm not mad about it.
You guys are spoiling the Mystery Knight. I absolutely was LOLing at him, Plumber, being all the way down the hill where Dunk and Egg are talking about, their future, and he's like waving his hands. He's like, hello. That made me laugh a lot. Um, I'm curious to see. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. Dunk's in jail. You know what I mean? So what's the point? I don't know how I feel about it. I gotta think about it a little bit more because I like how it makes Plumber slimy. It's interesting to me that Plumber would come to Dunk with this because, like, surely aren't there other randos around?
Sure, but
Um,
Dunk's got a bit of a favor with Baylor. Also, him and Plummer have a bit of a rapport that they've established. He
right.
knows that Dunk's kind of not all there, and also he doesn't have much, so he might not have much to lose.
He said, you know what I really liked? He said, so Dunk says, I do not want a victory that I have not earned. And Plumber says something to the effect of, haven't you earned it?
Yeah.
Like you said, he has the favor of Baylor. He's like, haven't you earned this opportunity? Like, well, look what you've done to be here. So, like, the fact that you're here at all is enough of a win.
I just think about his kids and how he's pointed out how there's a lot of like diplomacy around all this stuff, but at the end of the day, it's not fair. So we're just trying to get a little bit. So what do you think, man?
Again, the desperation of the normies.
1-to-1.
Yeah, the desperation of the normies. So
the lack of fear of the Targaryens and their liege lords, all just spiraling the same points. And because of that, the addition makes sense. And for me, I love the actor that portrays Plumber.
He is so
I'm
good.
I'm down for this.
He needs to stop spitting everywhere. It's so gross. Yeah, I'm down. I think I'm down for it too. I think especially on the rewatch, and I think especially like when we eventually not dial back, but pull out and get like the full scope of the whole season. I think that it's going to be a good addition, but yeah. Again, Uther Underleaf, why are they stealing all the good stuff from the Mystery Knight?
Not sure.
So I guess
it'll
maybe be familiar by the time we get to season 3. And I guess it depends on if Dunk's not really going to, I assume, have the opportunity to act on it. But it did add a nice layer of like a reason why Plumber should be staring at him as he's walking around.
At the very least.
I thought that was really good.
I liked how Raymond also asked about who he would be challenging.
Oh, yes.
It sort of gave Dunk an idea as well. So it all made a lot of sense.
He's like socializing the idea. It's like it was his own idea.
Yep.
It's like, okay.
Which was perfectly executed.
Yeah.
So what I have on the screen right now is Dunk and Egg watching Arion ride up, and we get just this, I don't have better words to describe it, this just stretched out booky sequence of the tents and of Arion sort of talking to Valar, just acknowledge his presence, saying that he's not going to disappoint him. Seeing Baelor's kid and Mykar's kid out there among those tents in exactly the way the novella described, looking exactly the way that the novella described, is, I mean, vindication.
I know.
Come on. We can have these silly little night tents and it will look good on TV. I freaking love
Arion's armor looks really good. And I know there was some disappointment, I think, that some folks had when we got the stills of it. But when you see him on that horse with his cape flowing behind him, I mean, he looks really good. They got like the dragons on their tent, It's so much, like, you can really see the polish versus all the other people. I felt like they did a good job of setting that apart, and I thought it looked really fantastic.
It is out of place,
Yeah.
There's so much poverty just yards away, but the enameled plate looks ridiculous. The tents look ridiculous.
It was great. And the come out, little knight, this time you face the dragon. I thought that was going to be from the Trial of the Seven. So that was kind of cool.
Visceral. All right. Sorry, I'm getting distracted.
It's time to rewatch.
Loved that, though. I need to rewatch this.
Another piece that we definitely need to call out that cannot go another second without discussion is Egg's song about the Blackfire Rebellion.
Oh, gosh.
That was just... I'm sure you saw, we saw rumors of this going around. People kept teasing.
I didn't.
There was before the season aired, after people got the screeners, there was some teasing going around about how there was a musical number or there was a song and it was going to be about like somebody was like, what if I told you there's a song about the Blackfire Rebellion? You know, that people were kind of circulating that. And so I believed it 50%, you know, because you can't believe everything that people say. Lo and behold, episode 3, Egg's not little, it was a long tune.
Yeah, it was.
About the Blackfire Rebellion. I can't wait to listen to it again and kind of get the lyrics broken down a little bit more. But it was so excellent. Because it's so interesting to me. You take like pieces of this story and you tell us 6 months ago, like, Egg is going to be singing a song about the Blackfire Rebellion, and the reveal about Egg, who he really is going to be set to this like crazy opera music, and you know, et cetera, et cetera. And Lionel Baratheon's going to be hanging from a chandelier with Manfred Dundarian singing about some girl.
I'm gonna care who Manfred Dundarian is.
Yeah, and it's going to hit, and it's going to be okay. I just feel like him singing about the Blackfire Rebellion is just like the perfect summation of, if we heard about that 6 months ago, we'd be like, great, eye roll. But now, I mean, I'm hyped. I'm so hyped about it. It's working so well.
Yeah, when you care about everything else and you execute all the little stuff well, then go ahead and use the lore in a fun way.
Yeah, you can do weird stuff. If you're
clearly getting it and doing all the other stuff justice, why not?
Exactly. So it's fun to see that time and time again in this season just be exactly what we would hope it could be, you know?
Yeah. Hey, how about the goose egg scene with Tansel?
Oh, gosh.
That was good.
Gosh, that was so good. Why was he squatting down so hard?
He's showing how to lay an egg. My favorite touch that was just so real was that she didn't respond to him at all. She was like, I'll have your shield ready tonight.
What a low blow for Dunk. That was so good. That was great. Those eggs also looked insanely good.
All right, let's get to our own so I can rewatch this episode.
You go first.
I will give my own to Mad Sir Robin Breisling for making me think he was going to kidnap Egg for 4 seconds.
Yes.
I was like, are they adding some crazy stuff into this episode?
Yeah, I got scared.
Also to Egg for the scene on the side of the hill when he says, I think I could stay at a place like this.
Oh.
I remember my first con, Egg. Everything was beautiful the first time.
That's good. I'm going to give my own to the beginning of the episode when Egg is training Thunder and when Egg is practicing his sick moves for how he's going to give Dunk his equipment for the lance. And I have been wondering when and why and where we're going to get Egg's fancy footwork scenes, his like spinning and twirling and running. And here we were. It was so funny. It was so great. It was so sweet. He was like, Thunder, we're all he has. We have to give him our all. And he was trying to figure out a way to give Dunk his like equipment in like a cool way. It was so nice. I absolutely loved that. So, own to Egg and Thunder, I guess.
Yeah, Egg and Thunder with a genuine kids sequence, like children
so
sequence
good.
In a GOT show, just playing with the horse.
Those are our owns. If you want to send in yours, you can find us on X, on Instagram, or by sending us an email to contact@gameofowns.com.
It's midnight on Sunday night. We're retweeting your owns as we record right now. I don't know how we're going to top last week's Sir Arlen reveal, but if you're excited about this episode, tell us on the internet.
Thanks for sticking with us while I record on an iPhone from my hotel room. But we will be back later this week with our midweek episode.
Yeah, we're going to break this thing down. I'm going to watch it 5 more times.
I can't wait.
But I'm pretty sure we're still going to be recording over FaceTime next time.
Yeah, so don't get your hopes up.